Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, I want to help you. I want to help you with the Sand Devil. And I want to show you quite a cool team that will speed farm, or relatively fast farm, stage 7 of Sand Devil. I know there's a ton of videos out there that kind of help you with 24, 25. You know, this is a team that can do it. The two-man squad with Godseeker and Ninja. The two-man squad, Godseeker and Walking Tomb Drang. I've got the kind of big team version taking down 24 to 25. But a lot of people honestly just don't need to farm that sort of level. You just don't need to. And even with the good teams, it's taking a lot of time up. So when I was looking on the optimizer the other day, I spotted a team for me, which was insanely cool. And honestly, using champions that I didn't think I would be using, like Little Miss Annie. I'm going to show you that team first, but then we're going to go on to the kind of cheap version. What I tend to do is I tend to build out the team I want to use, and then I think, can I scale this backwards so that people without the crazy champions and the crazy gear can get the job done? Let me show you the team that I'm going to do speed farming first, and then we'll kind of come back to a more accessible team. So in my squad, I've got Little Miss Annie as my damage. She's one of the highest single target damage dealers in the game. There wasn't really a use for her before, but now there is, because actually all we want is a nuke. We want a single target nuke, and we don't want it to be enemy max HP. Because at stage 7 and lower, or even like stage 15 and lower, he's not got the crazy high health pool. He's just like a menace. Now, Little Miss Annie's A3 hits a target, ignores defense. If they've got a higher defense than this champion, they will do. Destroys max HP as well, doesn't really matter. Will repeat attack a second time if the target has both higher defense and higher max HP. So basically doing a double hit. And it's a nuke. If she does the double hit, it's an absolute nuke. So Little Miss Annie is my damage. I've got her in the what's this, lethal set with cruel gear. First time I've used lethal set on a champion. 6.8k attack, 291 crit damage. She's running at 175 speed. To set it up, I've got a fast Kymar. He sleeps the boss into a Gerp Tuck damage boost. He's in a shield set for me as well. But we've got damage boost coming from his A3. We have Ghost Spawn dropping the defense of the enemy. There's my Ghost Spawn. Ghost Spawn dropping defense of the enemy with his A3. Irresistible, whilst giving us increased attack. And then Little Miss Annie comes in and smacks. Let me show you the big boy team first, and then we'll get into the kind of ramp down. I actually didn't call out Seer. Seer is coming in actually for just the weaken. So she opens up with her weaken ability. It means we've got drop defense and weaken landing at the same time. So in terms of this, we just say, Little Miss Annie, use your A3. Kymar, open with your A2, then A1. Ghost Spawn, A3, then A2. Seer, open with your A2, then A1 if there's any health needed to be smashed. But in my team, it's quicker than that. And then A3 with your Gerp Tuck for the damage boost. And you'll see this gives me a really efficient stage 7 farm, which lasts seconds. And the cool thing with that for me is I can just farm a whole bunch of the cheap to get, low level source, low level juice. And look at that smack. I'm so close to the one shot. So close to the one shot with Little Miss Annie. I need slightly better gear, but we just get a load of the low level juice ready to go. And yeah, it just makes it much easier to get the job done. Now, I just wonder if, just wondering here, if I was to, what was I thinking? Put people in toxic gear, would that make a difference? I don't think it would. But it's just consistent between 8 and 12 seconds. Normally it's 8 seconds if I land everything. And yeah, it's just easy as you like. Plenty of debuffs out on the target. The nuke, so close. And then we get the follow-up damage. So yeah. This then, I was thinking to myself, right, how do I try and recreate this in a cheaper way? So what are we looking for? What's the fundamentals here? We're looking for someone that sleeps the boss first. We're looking for debuffs to go out. Preferably things like decreased defense and weaken. Yeah, decreased defense and weaken. We're looking for debuffs to weaken the boss's resolve. And then we're looking for damage. And it needs to be single target, high-hitting damage dealers. And there's actually a ton of high-hitting damage dealers in the game, which are not legendary champions. In fact, we call them out a lot, and we're like, there's no real place for this champion in the game, but you know, they hit hard. Knight Errant is a good example. Yeah, one of the hardest hitting epics. Has just sat in vaults for his entire life because he's got nowhere to play. A team I've built out along the same lines, it's this team here. And like anybody can be replaced. It's not like, oh, I need it to be these certain champions. And in fact, Nishak here for stage 7, and stage 7 is really where you should be for the low cost farm. You get a good amount of juice for a low amount of energy. If you were to go on to different stages, like let's say you just wanted the void stage, stage 8, it's significantly worse energy for juice. Yeah, significantly worse. And obviously, if you go backwards, less juice for the same amount of energy doesn't feel like a good compromise either. So definitely stage 7 is where it's at for efficiency. But yeah, so Nishak's in my team, but he's not really the best for this stage. But we've got Sleep. Yeah, so this could be Muck Stalker or this dude for the low cost. All you need to do with your Hellhound is make sure you get 100% crit rate, get over 200 accuracy, and get them to be faster than anybody who's going to do any damage or debuffs. Yeah, so I've got him an okay amount of health. Doesn't matter if he dies. He's only level 50 here. Level 50, don't care. Literally in there to send this dude to sleep, and then I'm done with him. Don't need him anymore. I've then got debuffs coming in from my Fane. So again, she's only level 50 for me here. I've got slower than the Hellhound. So slower than your Sleep Champion, but faster than everybody else. She's going to do my debuffs. Enough speed, enough accuracy. And then I want her to have some HP to survive any sort of hits I'm going to take. So she's in all like HP gear. I'll show you her gear actually quick. She's got like bolster set on to give my team a shield. She's got HP % gloves, HP % chest, and then speed boots. Then we get into my damage. So I'll show you on this screen actually. It's pretty easier. I've got my Nishak in there as a damage dealer through his bombs and through his poisons. So he's in a build which has got high attack, slower than Fane, but more than 180. And then enough accuracy to land his stuff. Attack %, attack %, attack %, attack %, anywhere I can get it really. More attack for more bomb damage. His masteries are partly done, but don't really matter. And you know, he's just an easy build. Probably doesn't even need to be level 60, honestly, but I'd already 60'd him. Similar amount of health to my Fane there. I've then got my 2 damage dealers. Now, these need to have slightly better builds. Yeah, this is where your damage is going to come from in a different way. So Faceless is an option. He ignores defense on his A3. But there's tons of options. There's tons of people that will do a similar level of damage to Faceless here. Faceless has got crit damage as a mastery. This is definitely a stats over sets type of build. We want high crit damage with 100% crit rate. We want to be faster than 180, slower than Nishak. Yeah, or slower than the kind of previous damage dealer. And I've tried to go attack % wherever I can. So we've got about 180 speed in attack % boots. Obviously, you do what's best for you. And yeah, he's just built to do an almighty nuke. Lots of attack, 100% crit rate, and then crit damage. And then the other person we've got here is Shamal, who's actually really good for this fight. Now, Shamal's got this A2. Will ignore 25% of the target's defense and then ignores another 25 for each buff on this champion. Now, I don't have a team here that's going to give me a load of buffs, yeah? But what I can do is I can put him in immunity gear. That's 1 buff. And I can put him in a divine set, which is another buff. So I get 2 buffs out of the gear that I've put him in to enable him to ignore 75% of this enemy's defense. Means he's going to do a lot of damage with this A2. The rest of the stuff doesn't really matter a lot. Masteries, I've got him with crit damage here. Might be better if he had Warmaster, honestly. I'm not sure. But he does kick out some good damage. So if we see this in action, Nishak's, as I say, the wrong affinity here, so it's hit and miss on him. But everyone else is pretty consistent. Got the bolster set to be able to deal with hits that are coming into us, the shield. We sleep him straight away. We get drop defense and weaken out from Fane. We're starting to get some hits away. We do want to wake him up. So we've got a nuke coming in there from Faceless, and then a nice A2 nuke coming in from Shamal. Almost done half his health. And then because we woke him up, he will do his nuke, which puts him straight back to sleep. Yeah, so then we're going again. Now he's coming at us with his A2. This is really why we needed that bolster set. My Hellhound now puts him back to sleep again because he's had 1 turn cooldown of us sleeping him. So we get to lay in the nukes again. And we're about to lose people. It doesn't really matter at this stage. Shamal does a whole bunch of hits for everyone taking these debuffs. He's like, about to flex my A1 power. Doesn't do a lot, honestly. Back to sleep because we woke him up. We should start rotating back around now to our main abilities. If we're lucky, we get stuff like bombs away. But that's because of the affinity. We don't always get that to happen here. And then we get the nuke. 1 minute. It's not quick, but it's also not that slow, right? And you'll see my 3 damage dealers here. 227k from Nishak, 288 from Faceless, 280 from Shamal. Nishak could easily be another champion like a Faceless, Knight Errant, any of the big single target hitters. In fact, let me share with you, my good man Saphira did pull together for me a group of good ones. Let me just open this up. Here it is. So these are the big names. I don't know if you can see this well. So I will try and hide myself a minute. Big names in here then. So from the top, Jintoro, biggest single target damage hit you can do. Tunisia, Little Miss Annie, Elder Skald, Huntsman, Shamal, Yakal that we can all get from our clan shop. Errol, bunch of them here. There's a whole bunch of them. Fenchi is an epic. Bonekeeper does a massive hit. I think that is a uncommon, is it? Or a common? Knight Errant, Alika, the Jailer. Jailer needs to be buffs on the enemy, so that's not going to work. Juliana's got a big one on her A2 now. Yes, there's a whole bunch of options here that you can get to run in this style of team. And basically, you need to have 3 people doing damage. The other option you can do, and something which Saf does, because he's got a bigger hitter, is actually he has 2 damage dealers and he has 1 reset champion. So similar idea. Instead of using 3 people to punch the damage in, he's only using 2, but he's resetting it to do their big hits. So I do think it's possible to run this as well, maybe with a healer instead of one of the damage dealers. It would be a much slower run. You probably would need to have a level 60 on your sleep champion to kind of make sure that it happened. But yeah, I mean, there's a little bit here around RNG because of wrong affinity, and that's something to watch out for, I guess. You can see we've done a bunch more damage this time around just because Nishak actually landed a few of his bombs and stuff. Now we're kind of punching on for like good chunks of damage here. He's having a little nap and then he's going to be dead really quick this time. So that's like a 30-second kill when RNG went in our favor. So obviously the more kind of stats, the more you develop these champions, the better they will do. If you put things like War Master or Phantom Touch on these champions, then they will proc more hits against that shield. It doesn't matter too much for this strat, I don't think, because you still get your damage away as long as those debuffs are out there. Yeah, and I think there's a whole ton of different options that you could run in each of these slots. As I say, it's kind of, there's definitely a whole kind of group of champions that can now be used. You just need to look at your roster and decide who do you want to build out for it. But there you go, guys. That is Sand Devil Stage 7 speed farmed. I'll see you later.